My dad, 55 male, won't walk me down the aisle, 30 female, and I don't know if I should uninvite him from the wedding. I, 30 female, am getting married in about a month to my best friend, 35 male. I did not grow up knowing my dad, 55 male, very well, as him and my mum divorced when I was an infant. He remarried and had several kids with his new wife, who hates my very existence. There was a lot of hurtful things done when I was growing up, like not being allowed in her house when I visited, that led to me being estranged from my father. He never really made much of an effort, but later, after I was 18, I completely cut him off for my mental health and stopped answering the few calls he attempted. He tried to get in contact every once in a while over the years, but I honestly just ignored him. I was hurt and angry. About a year ago, I got back into contact with some extended family on his side and have been forging a good bond with all of them. I invited them all to our wedding, and they have been amazing. Eventually, I started speaking with my dad as well, back around Christmas, and it was tense at first, but I decided just to give him a chance. We have slowly been getting a semblance of a relationship back, and I saw him in person with my fiancé a couple of months ago. His wife is not pleased at all, and apparently their kids, my half-siblings, all adults, are also upset about it. I think there are threats of divorce, but my dad still decided to go to my wedding. After a ton of thought, I asked my dad if he wanted to walk me down the aisle, as I have been hopeful for a better relationship, but he turned me down. I wouldn't be as upset if he gave a generic excuse, but he told me his wife and other daughter requested he does not walk me down the aisle, as that is reserved for his other daughter and not me. I am super hurt and not even sure what to reply to that with. He offered to stand at the front and give me away instead, but that isn't what I want. My fiancé thinks we should uninvite him and move on, but I'm not sure if that is the best course of action. He is coming from out of state with the rest of his family, so he already bought a plane ticket and hotel room. Part of me thinks to just politely turn him down, have him as a regular guest, and then just stop talking to him again after the wedding. My mum isn't coming to my wedding because she lives really far away, so I don't really have any other immediate family coming. I'm not sure what the best course of action is, and the wedding is getting super close, so I have to make a decision soon. Edit. Wow, this post has blown up. Thank you all so much for the advice and comforting words. To answer some common questions I am seeing, no, his wife and my half-siblings are not attending the wedding. I invited them, but they won't even meet me, let alone go to the wedding. He has 2 sons and a daughter with his new wife, all in their 20s. I am not sure if my dad cheated on my mum with my stepmom. My mum, through all her faults, never actually said a bad word about him. He did marry my stepmom by the time I was 2 years old though, so there wasn't really much time in between marriages. They are also very Christian, in the worst way, as in they don't really follow what they claim to believe. My mum cannot fly, as she has panic attacks. She is also actually a worse parent than my dad in a lot of ways, believe it or not. I have no male relatives to walk me down the aisle. I also never wanted him to give me away, as I think that is dumb. I just wanted my dad to act like my dad for one moment. My fiancé and I have decided to walk down the aisle together, as one of you suggested. So that part is settled. I'll update everyone once I decide what to do, and if there is any response. My reaction for OP. Whoa! Her dad sounds mean and disinterested. Good move if she does walk down the aisle with her fiancé. Serves him right. Additional comments. Commenter 1. Do you want this rude, mean stranger at your wedding, or do you not? He isn't going to suddenly turn into a nice person or good father to you. If you let him come, I would absolutely not involve him in the ceremony in any way. Like, he doesn't get a seat at the front, he doesn't get to speak, or stand, or do anything. Perhaps you and your fiancé would consider walking down the aisle together, or on your own. It doesn't have to be with a father figure, especially not this one, who doesn't see you as a daughter. Do what is right for you. Your wedding doesn't exist to fix your family. Commenter 2. Hey OP, I don't have any great words of wisdom for you other than to say, that sucks. And to send you a big dad hug. It's what your dad should be giving you as he walks you down the aisle. But, in its absence, please accept a hug from a random internet dad who is proud of you and wishes you a wonderful wedding day. Also, it's not your responsibility that your dad has bought a plane ticket and hotel room. Kids of emotionally unavailable parents spend all their time trying to look after their parents' emotional needs in the hopes that their parents might eventually see them and love them. You don't need to look after your dad anymore. He made his choice. Listen to your fiancé. It's not now and has never been okay for your dad to hurt you. He made his choice to appease his wife rather than being fully with you on your big day. It's okay for you to make your choice or have your wedding without him. It might feel like it would be nice to have immediate family at your wedding, but really having him there would most likely just be a reminder of the love and support you needed and deserved as a child and that you never received. OP reply. Thank you so much, Internet Dad. I needed to hear this. My mom isn't much better, but I gave up any hope with her a long time ago. Seems like I need to give up hope with my dad as well. On the bright side, my aunt and her family are amazing people, so they will be great at the wedding regardless. Now, onto the update. Update. Hello everyone. Just wanted to start by saying thank you so much for your kind words and advice to my original post. It made me feel so much better. We had an amazing wedding and honeymoon. Everything went really well. My husband wants to thank everyone who said some form of listen to your fiancé. Haha. I'll start with what happened right after my 30 female last post. I did uninvite my dad, 50 male, from my wedding. The whole interaction was too hurtful to let go of. Before telling him I was uninviting him, I spoke with my aunt, which is his sister Sandy, 50s female, who was furious at her brother for what he said to me. She has been such a great support of me and my husband, which has been amazing, honestly. After I sent my dad an email detailing how hurtful he had been and that he was uninvited, Sandy called him and yelled at him for being an ass. He replied to my email with a bunch of nonsense deflection about how he has to make sure both sides are happy, but apparently told Sandy, not me, he was sorry and that it was a miscommunication. He claims to Sandy that he was only trying to negotiate with me and that he would have walked me down the aisle if that was what I really wanted. I highly doubt that. My mother-in-law, who's extremely conservative and religious, actually said my dad needed to grow some balls, which literally shocked everyone. Ha ha! I replied to him that I stood firm in my decision to uninvite and to not contact me again until after the wedding, but that if he did contact me at all, it better be with the understanding that he needs to be present in my life the same way he is with his other kids, otherwise to not reach out again. Around this time, right before the wedding, I called my mom and asked her about what really happened with her and my dad when I was a baby, because she never talked about it with me growing up. Unlike my dad and stepmom, my mum never once said anything bad about my dad to me. She was always neutral positive about him, which I have since thanked her for, as it let me come to my own conclusions about what a deadbeat he is. My mum and I had a good cry about everything, and she let me know how abusive and awful my dad was to her when I was a baby after they split up. I also found out that he married his new wife when I was less than a year old, which is insane, considering my parents were still 100% together the day I was born. Sandy swears up and down that she introduced my dad and stepmom to each other after my parents split, as they, stepmom and Sandy, were classmates in college. I don't really care either way at this point. It is just interesting to see how no one has a clear idea of what happened. My thought is that they were cheating and then used Sandy to introduce them to cover up their behaviour. Oh, keep in mind, they are all very Christian, even though they clearly don't follow any of their religious teachings. I didn't hear anything from my dad during the wedding, and Sandy and her family still came. We all had a blast and everyone was so happy for us. The pictures turned out great and there isn't anyone in them that I wish I could Photoshop out. So I definitely knew uninviting my dad ended up being the best decision we could make. I talked to Sandy about my dad over the holidays and she said that him and his wife and kids were refusing to go to any family dinners or parties because they are upset that everyone else talks to me. I have been in regular contact with Sandy, my Uncle Jerry, and all of their kids, which makes my stepmom feel betrayed. Sandy is pissed at her because they used to be friends, but never understood what her issue was with me. I found out my stepmom treated me like crap the second she had her first kid when I was still a toddler, which probably doesn't surprise anyone. I didn't hear from my dad all through December, but finally, in late January, I got a random email from him. He sent a long email blaming me for him not being in my life, telling me his wife and kids were more important, but that we need to still be in each other's lives. It was the most BS email he had sent me so far, and completely disregarded my wishes back in October when I told him to not contact me unless he was going to treat me like his actual child. I ended up not responding and just blocking his email. I also told Sandy to not share any of the pictures or videos from the wedding with him and to not talk about me with him. I think this will be the end of the relationship with him since he clearly is incapable of being a parent to me. I feel a lot more at peace with everything that happened, and I'm completely okay with how it all turned out. One commenter on my original post said something along the lines of not knowing if my dad would have been a bad parent since he wasn't around, and that really has stuck with me. Thinking about it now, he probably would have been even worse had he actually been in my life. Unfortunately, both my parents are emotionally stunted, but I made a good use of the life that was handed to me and will hopefully break the cycle with my own kids one day. I didn't mention in my last post that my husband and I are going to be moving to the same state as my family in the next year. I was worried at first being closer to my dad, but honestly, he and his bitter wife and kids can do whatever they want. I'm just going to live my life how I want to. We were planning on moving to this state before I even got back in contact with my family, so we will continue to do what is best for us. Anyways, thank you again, kind Redditors. You really helped me not feel sad or upset for my wedding day. Story 2. My 23 male boyfriend held me, 19 female, underwater during a bath to prove a point, and I'm still shaken. I'm 19 female and have been with my boyfriend 23 male for over a year now. We come from different countries and religions, but we've made it work. I have to mention this. My boyfriend loves turning everything into a competition. We both go to the gym and he's always like, who can do this better? Even at home, he's always asking who can cook better, clean faster, you name it. A week ago, we were relaxing in the bathtub together. He asked who I thought could hold the other underwater the longest. I found it weird and just brushed it off as one of his usual questions. Just 2 to 3 minutes later, he got up as if to get out of the bathtub and suddenly pushed me underwater. He kept me under for what felt like more than 20 seconds. When he finally let go, he started laughing. I'm generally healthy, but I have a heart condition that requires daily medication to keep my heart rate normal. Without meds, my heart rate can go up to 140 to 150 beats per minute. Even with meds, sudden situations like this can make my heart rate spike to 140 and stay between 110 and 120 for the next few days. He knows this. He brought up what happened today and said he apologized, which he didn't, and that I should get over it. I'm trying. He said he was trying to prove a point, that I need to work on myself more. It doesn't make sense to me because he's naturally stronger than me, and no matter how much I work out, I can't always defend myself against everything successfully. I can't talk to my sister or mother about it. They'd just asked what I was doing in a bathtub with a guy in the first place. Typical. And I still don't have friends here. It's only him and me. We've talked about it more than once and he says if I did this to him, he would have found it funny. I don't know if I just need to loosen up more, but I don't understand how holding me underwater for that long was ever funny in his head. Edit. He's also complaining now about the marks I left on his wrist arm, almost faded. I didn't mean to. It was sudden and I swallowed a bit of water and I was freaking out and just wanted him to let go. I apologized for this but told him it was a natural reaction to what he did. Now for the additional advices. Commenter 1. You need to get out immediately. Do not listen to anything he says to you to convince you otherwise. He is dangerous. If there is a universe where what he did could be forgiven has a massive error in judgment, the way he's reacted since then, finding about 6 different ways to blame you for being upset, is the opposite of what that would look like. Commenter 2. This is very, very scary. I am afraid for you. You are still shaken because what he did was violent. There is no other way to define it. He used his greater body mass to restrain you in a dangerous, scary, and potentially life-threatening situation and found it funny. He has gone far beyond the boundaries of normal competitiveness. The fact that he pushed you to apologize for leaving marks on his arm while he was practically drowning you leads me to believe that he is 1. unable or unwilling to see the true harm of his actions, and 2, will do something similarly violent again, and 3, will find a way to make your reactions to his violence a bigger problem. Please find a way to remove this man from your life soon before he escalates and puts you in even greater danger. If you're enjoying this story, please comment down below. Thank you.